It had been raining heavily recently, and all the engines were resting in Tidmouth's sheds. Percy was boasting about the time he braved a flood. The water swirled under my boiler and sloshed my fire, but I struggled on. Water's nothing to an engine with determination, you know. Rubbish, snorted Thomas. What about that time you went for a dip at the harbour? That's different, said Percy indignantly. Besides, you'd never be able to go out tonight and make it back, let alone brave a flood. Pah, fumed Thomas. I'm not scared. Just then, the yard foreman arrived. There's a late shipment at the harbour to be taken down to Farquhar, and I need an engine to take it. Before anyone else could reply, Thomas spoke up. I'll do it, sir, he whistled. All right, Thomas, but be careful. We don't want another washout. I'll be fine, sir. I'm not as careless as Percy. Careless? Pah! Said Percy, and vanished in a cloud of steam. The rain pelted down on Thomas's boiler as he left the sheds. Percy's a silly green goblin. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I can be braver than him any day. He found the vans at the harbour, still being loaded. Hurry up, he wheezed at the workman. I'm freezing. You've got your boiler to keep you warm, replied a man. We've only got our coats. He buffeted up to the vans and was soon ready to leave. The guard blew his whistle and Thomas started with a jolt, his wheels slipping on the wet rails. Come along, come along. All right, don't fuss, all right, don't fuss, groaned the vans as they rolled into the tunnel. Thomas was soon hurrying down the branch line. He tried to pick up speed, but his driver checked his pace. Steady, Thomas, he warned. We don't want to use up all our sand trying to make you stop. Rubbish, I'm fine, whistled Thomas. But as they approached the station, they saw a man holding a red flag. Bother, hissed Thomas. We were going so nicely, too. The man approached them. You can continue on, but you must travel slowly. The river is close to bursting its banks, and you might be too heavy. Heavy? What nonsense! I'm not fat! As long as we're careful, you should be fine, soothed his driver. Make sure you use lots of sand so you can get a firm grip on the rails. Heavy indeed, fumed Thomas as they carried on. At last they reached Farquhar. Thomas shunted the vans away and went to fill up on water. Now for a long run home, he thought. But instead, he found his driver moving him into his shed. Aren't we going back? He asked his driver. I'm afraid not. It's too dangerous, and your fireman and I need to get home. But, well, Thomas didn't want to admit it, but he was scared of being left alone in the rain. Those trucks over there need delivering. His driver sighed. All right, I'll ask the station master. Thomas shivered uncomfortably, but soon his driver returned. It's risky, but we've got permission. Oh, thank goodness, whistled Thomas. Thomas was coupled to the trucks, and they soon began their journey back down the line. Thomas bumped the trucks around, trying to hurry back to his shed. Be careful, Thomas, warned his driver. We're going to run out of sand at this rate. But Thomas wouldn't listen. The trucks groaned and chattered crossly amongst each other. What right does he have to bump us about? Doesn't he have those old antique coaches? No wonder he's being so reckless. Let's pay him out. Thomas took no notice. He just wanted to be back in his shed. No one knew that the heavy rain had caused the ground and track bed to warp and graze, so much so that the engines wouldn't be able to clear the harbour bridges. As Thomas began to descend the slope to the harbour, his driver applied his brakes. Steady, Thomas, we don't want to come off. Then, everything seemed to happen at once. The trucks took their chance and bumped into Thomas, making him pick up speed. The driver tried to release the sand, but Thomas's sandboxes were empty. Oh, help! Whistled Thomas as he began to pick up speed. The driver turned, and suddenly he saw the bridge, much too close. He and the fireman jumped clear as Thomas's cab hit the bridge and began to be ripped away. Ooh, ah! Groaned Thomas, sparks flying everywhere. With a shuddering groan, Thomas stopped, with his cab firmly wedged under the bridge. That's torn it, said his driver. Yes, it has, replied Thomas, looking at his torn and bent cab. Soon, the fat controller came. Thomas, Well, the accident wasn't your fault. I don't appreciate you trying to be a bridge support, he said crossly. We can't get you out now, so we'll have to wait until the weather improves. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir, mourned Thomas. It was several days before the weather cleared. The engines had to be very cautious, as the bridge over the harbour would take a while to be repaired. Strong cables were attached to Thomas, and eventually he was pulled free. Percy and Toby were sad to see him go, and they all hoped he would return soon.